Hi there, Carl Shoemaker, business coach with Action Coach here, and joined by Randy Carroll, seniors helping seniors. Welcome, Randy. Good
Hey,
to see you.
Carl. Good morning. Good to see you too.
So why don't we just jump right into it, and you can start off with telling us how the story and how'd you get started doing what you're doing, or what is seniors helping seniors?
Well, I'll give you kind of a synopsis of all that. I've been working in senior living for over 12 years, and mostly within the continuing care retirement community space, and really believe that there was another way to serve our older population. Seniors Helping Seniors started as a community outreach within our founder's hometown. And she was actually a mentee of Mother Teresa. And she learned that when we basically give ourselves in service to others, we really receive far more than we ever expected. And this has really become or is the vision of Seniors Helping Seniors that by providing compassionate in-home personal and companion care to older adults, we in turn receive a amazing return because of the relationships and the satisfaction of what we consider purpose-driven care. So that speaks to me, and that's why I got involved in this business.
Okay, great. Well, you mentioned Mother Teresa, and Mother Teresa is one of my favorites.
She's
Um,
she's got some great quotes too.
Well,
Really.
that's what was running through my head because somebody once asked her in some kind of interview about, oh my, how do you do it? How do you deal with this incredible poverty and working in these slums in India? And how can you possibly handle this? And this just seems endless. And she said, the answer is I deal with one person at a time. And
Yeah.
that's kind of the answer to so many things, right? So
Yep.
seniors helping seniors, just kind of in a nutshell, from a business perspective, what exactly are you doing for seniors?
So basically, what we do is we provide two different types of what is known as in-home services. We provide what's known as companion care. Companion care is like having a personal assistant around the house. So imagine somebody doing some light housekeeping, taking you to doctor's appointments at the beauty parlor, doing a little meal prep, somebody around for socialization, right? That's what companion care typically is. Then you have what's called personal care. And this really addresses more of what's known in our world as activities of daily living. So
Yeah.
if somebody needs transferring, bathing, dressing, medication management, which is a big thing these days, then we provide those personal assistants to be able to provide that care to the older adult in their home. And that's the key differentiator.
Okay, great. So the target of the care are seniors who need that kind of care, but then the seniors helping seniors, that's
Yes,
the target of your
that's
workforce.
yeah, it is. That's exactly the way. And that is one of the distinguishing unique propositions about our business is that, as is in the name, Seniors Helping Seniors, we seek to employ healthy, active older adults to provide this care essentially to their peers. And that's particularly true with companion care services. And we have found that that relationship, that ability to connect with a peer, ultimately leads to better outcomes. They relate better to each other. They
Right.
obviously have traveled much of the same arc of their life. So you end up with people knowing that, they they went to the same concerts, they love the same music, they've got kids, grandkids. I mean, they're of a peer age, and that connection is far different than, some sort of younger random person coming in the door that they don't relate to as well. It's amazing. It's rather magical when you see it happen.
So at the same time that somebody who needs the help with ADL issues or just companionship, somebody else who's still able to deliver that, but is also a senior, is getting a chance to be productive and involved.
Absolutely. Absolutely. So if you think of purpose when we age, right, that purpose is challenged because of our health conditions. Perhaps we've slowed down in some way. However, that ability to engage, right? There is a large population of older adults that want to be, want purpose in their life. They want to be engaged and volunteering to help. And this is a way for them to do that and get paid for it at the same time. So it feeds a purpose in their life to be able to get out there and help their peers.
I I don't know if this is as obvious to everybody, and maybe it should be, but if having a purpose, reason to get up every day, a reason to do something every day is the this is what makes everything worthwhile. You should have a reason to go do something. Otherwise, um, I mean, you kind of waste away. So,
Yes, and
uh,
when you think about the benefits of it, I mean, the secret sauce to aging, people have known about it for years, is socialization. And whether we're two people or multiples, that ability to socialize, to connect on multiple levels with a fellow human being can be really life-saving. And so you have somebody, in our case, a senior who's providing that assistance that has got that purpose and that ability to connect with the person receiving the care, and we call them receivers. And that person receiving the care also, sort of, if you will, coming alive, staying engaged, doing things with their assistant that again, it puts a pep in their step, and they both connect on this purpose for their individual lives and collectively. It's really neat.
so it really, I mean, I think I've got it and a good understanding of it. So there's really there's two targets for you. The care giver is people who still have something to do, and maybe they're not retired yet, maybe they're retired, but they still have energy and they still want to do something. So you could help them get engaged, get paid, but
Hmm.
add value. And then the other ones are those people who are not in need of nursing care yet, but are in need of those assistance with daily living activities and companionship and engagement. So you need those people who are like dealing with aging relatives, aging parents, and then you need those people who still have more to give. And that's both sides. And bringing that together is what you want to do, right?
Exactly. Yeah. And I think the emphasis really is on obviously matching the right personalities, and ultimately the goal is for our older adults to age in place successfully. Now, statistically speaking, whether you look at AARP or there was a recent University of Michigan study that says or indicated that between 75 and 82% of older adults, let's just take that 65 and older age group, prefer to age in their own home. So, how do we do that? Most people can't afford to move into assisted living communities or skilled nursing facilities. And there's a huge demand these days and will increase because of our aging population on the medical, systems that are in this country. So if people prefer to live at home and age that way, we want to help them age successfully by providing them with the types of care and those people that are providing that so that they are successful and obviously at far less cost.
I would be surprised if the percentage of people who really would like to age in their home isn't higher than that even. So that's your real value proposition, right?
Yes, it
That's
is.
your you solve the problem of, you know, people have aging parents and they want to take care of them, but they also want to keep them happy. And if they want to stay in their own home as long as possible,
Correct, as long as
that
possible.
that's where you can really, that's the problem that you solve.
Correct. Correct.
Okay.
Yes. Yep. Older people wanting to age in their own home, being able to do so successfully, and when they're challenged with health or mental health questions or issues, then we step in to solve for that problem, those issues that they're confronted with. So, yep,
Right.
exactly.
It seems to me like it's an economic problem or an economic issue as well as a social issue, right? This is just I'm looking at this and going, if you have to put somebody into assisted living or whatever level, right? Independent living, assisted living, into nursing care, you're just talking about increasing economic burden all the way up. And the other side of that is that's really not what they want right now. They really want to be in their own home as long as is possible. So
That's
you're
right.
addressing both sides of that equation. I really like that as a kind of way to frame it.
Yeah, and that's what it is. It's solving for, right, the increased demands that our population has, the preference for staying at home, and the economic value of doing it through care that we provide to them. And again, that unique proposition of bringing in, fellow seniors to provide especially that companion care. Nobody else out there is doing it, and there's a lot of competition out there, Carl. I'll tell you that.
Well, I know the competition in your world is significant. I mean, everybody sees the amount of aging people and they see that there's a need and they see that there's a business aspect to it and they want to try to address it, but I think you're framing out a unique selling proposition that makes a lot of sense. The next question I had to do with local business owners and expanding their networking, but I think I want to turn that around a little bit. Let's think about you and your business. Let's think about Randy Carroll and Seniors Helping Seniors. What are the best possible, we call them strategic alliances or strategic partnerships? What are the best possible people for you to approach to network with who can answer like either side of that equation? So, in getting at people who are seniors who have a lot to give, who are the people you could talk to who would, help fill that need? Are there?
Well, the immediate and obvious answer, Carl, to that is networking into different types of healthcare providers. So everybody from hospital discharge planners, skilled nursing facilities, assisted living communities, those types of people and their staff that are working with older adults all the time and are involved with their care planning. Beyond that, what's really interesting is there are also a lot of other people that have interactions with our population. So
Right.
if I think about an elder law attorney, they're a good prospect to network with, as is wealth managers, or trust and estate attorneys, because these are the people that are integrally involved, particularly where the financial piece is concerned, about planning for their clients' future, whether they're, as we call them, adult children of parents that are aging or the parents themselves. So by kind of, if you will, casting a wider net amongst the people that interplay with that older population, I've got a greater chance of being able to being turned to for those services. So
Right.
yeah, that's so there's it's a fairly wide referral network. Not to mention, very simply, I've had a couple of people that are our neighbors, a next door neighbor, saying, "Hey, I hear you work for Seniors Helping Seniors. My mother-in-law is struggling. Can you come and do an assessment with her?" So sometimes it's just word of mouth. People in all kinds of industries, but I mean, you could take, for example, houses of worship, right? Places of
Sure.
different faith. those people, right? Big aging populations, going to these houses of worship, that is a resource for us. So, and then senior centers. When I have an opportunity to
The one on
speak
my
to
mind was senior centers.
yeah, I mean, larger audiences is really where I'm going to capture, if you will, sort of the most immediate interest in learning more about what it is we provide. So, again, one-on-one is important, and word of mouth is important, but being able to get in front of and describe as you so aptly put it, the, the solutions that we offer, then that type of an audience is particularly attuned to what we have to say.
But I kind of like to see you as making an approach to every town has a senior center, and to make an approach to every senior center, but also at least experiment a little bit, test and measure the idea of kind of a small ad in the various different houses of worship, their bulletins. They do
Yeah.
a weekly bulletin and put an ad or a couple of ads out there. And you're I think one of the beauties about this, you could be attracting both your client and your workforce with more or less the same kind of ad and get people, to talk. But the only way I've ever found that you find out these things work or not is you try them and you test them
Right. You,
out.
you,
Because
you do.
everybody
You
will
have
tell
to.
you, everybody will
Yep.
tell you, oh, you should do this, you should do that. But you do them, but you do them with a mind to let's test it out, let's try it.
Very much so. Yeah, I have to beta test these things, and I have a presentation coming up in May at the Ridgewood Library, and it's a presentation about, aging and how we do it successfully today. And it's really going to be taking sort of a 30,000-foot look at the aging process, our options as we age. But of course, I'm going to be able to weave in, services like that which we offer as an option, and oftentimes a good option for people as they age. So that
But once
audience, that will be the type of I think I'm hoping traction that I'll gain for the future.
Well, that's a great place to do that. I know, I'm familiar with those type of opportunities, and they don't want you to, be pitching
No,
anything. They want you to be educating. But uh, Johnson Public Library over in Hackensack is another place that you might consider because
Mhm.
in
Okay.
terms of this, and we have some connections over there. We know some people over there at Johnson. So do your thing in Ridgewood for sure. And then let's talk about potentially getting you a chance to talk to some other people. Those adult services librarians, of course, have a connection to one another.
Oh, they do.
So
Yeah.
once you talk to one of them, you can ask them to help you. Great. So yeah, I mean, kind of in wrapping it up, what trends do you see? Your industry is, I mean, people are getting older, and um, the retire number of people retiring and moving on to the next phase of their life is bigger and bigger. So what do you see shaping your industry? What trends are out there?
Well, I mean, we've touched on it, and you really pretty much nailed it. And an interesting statistic, by 2030, all the baby boomers will have reached the age of 65. So, and that represent or will represent about 75 million Americans. And
Mhm.
that means that as this population ages, not everyone is going to stay, healthy and well and of sound mind. And so as the population ages, and the demand increases for care, then the need for an organization like Seniors Helping Seniors only grows. And that's, so it's sort of this kind of merging of a number of different statistics and demographics that are going to continue to be there for the foreseeable, well into the foreseeable future. And again, I think we have a great solution to helping people, again, better outcomes through aging in home where they want to be, and we're going to be able to meet that need as time continues to go on. So,
Good. I hope so. I don't
Yeah.
see this population as the population that would be in favor of having AI manage their aging process. They would like the actual human interaction. So I think you are in the right place at the right time, and I'm looking forward to hearing more about how you do this. Let's do this again at some
Well,
point.
I'd like to, and I think it's also very much it's very important that this to me to my business partner Ray Garino and I, combined we have over 30 years experience working with seniors, is that it really is about that one-on-one relationship that we started
Sure.
talking about.
Very good.
Mother Teresa also once said, "Be gracious with people and ruthless with your time." So,
Yes. I imagine that's the kind of thing that a lot of business owners, business executives really high would mostly mention the latter part of that, not the former part of that.
yeah, not often a lot of grace in business, but yes,
Right.
being ruthless with
Just
your
ruthless.
time.
Be
Yeah,
ruthless, but yeah, be ruthless. But the
be
other part of it is
ruthless.
so much more important. So, Randy Carroll, Seniors Helping Seniors, thanks for coming on. I appreciate talking to you. And yeah, let's do it again sometime.
Awesome. Thanks a lot for your time,
Thanks.
Carl. See you soon.
Yeah.